Today I am going to be talking about something which I have just done as of yesterday, which I have been meaning to do for a very long time. And that is finally declutter my yarn stash. I think saying a stash wouldn't even be accurate because I know there are people with bigger collections than me, but I have a heck of a lot of yarn and it's actually crazy how much I have, and I haven't been really keeping a track of it. And there's a few reasons why I came to the conclusion that I really needed to have a sort through. So before I show you the true extent of the horror of today's video, I'm Jessie of Crochet by Jessie, and let's get into it. I genuinely do feel really bad for the amount of yarn that I have had for the last year, I would say especially. I will say my yarn stash has been accumulating for years. This isn't just a case of me buying a bunch of stuff really recently and being bad. This has slowly grown. I also have been gifted quite a lot of stuff from family and friends. When I used to go to Turkey a lot more consistently, the yarn there is extremely good price-wise, so I end up getting extra yarn there that maybe I wouldn't typically have done. And because of that, I have honestly lost control a little bit with what I have. Especially in the last 6 months, I've had a huge shift where my main focus now when it comes to yarn is using cotton, because that's what I usually design with. And because of that, the acrylic yarn, which is what I always used to use, is kind of at the sideline. And because of that, I just don't feel like I can justify having as much as I have at this stage. Do not get me wrong, I have still kept a decent amount. However, the majority of what I have left, I have an intended project for it now. So I'm going to make a bunch more 6-day star blankets. I've already started that for one of them because I thought I'll gift it to family and friends, and then I feel like I'm making use of my yarn and people are getting a gift. So it's a win-win. Let me know in a second how many kind of regular plastic shopping bags full of yarn you think I may be donating now. I'll give you a second so you can comment it. So you see this giant bag here? I have 9 bags full of yarn, which is crazy. I will specify not all of this is acrylic. I do have some cotton yarn because there are specific brands that I don't really use anymore, purely because I've found my preferred brands of cotton, and so those are the ones I tend to go for, and then I buy more of that cotton, so the other cotton just doesn't get used. So I thought it would make sense to also declutter that part of my stash as well. There is a huge variety. We have got regular acrylic yarn, we've got some yarn cakes, we've got colour changing yarn, we've got the cotton. There's a nice mix. I've also got some crochet hooks, some safety eyes because I don't really use them at all, and some extra stitch markers. I'm really excited because one of my friends is a teacher, so all of this yarn is actually going to be donated to the school that she works at, which is really nice because I would have been really chuffed if we had this much yarn available at my primary school. I would have probably crocheted a lot more at that age because I've been crocheting since I was 7. So I thought it'd be really fun to actually get to do that, and it means that they're going to be able to use the yarn and enjoy it when, quite frankly, it was gathering dust in my ottoman bed and in other parts of my room because I literally have yarn everywhere. And it also gives me the chance to actually tame the chaos, which was my yarn stash getting really out of control. My current game plan for 2026 regarding my yarn, I'm going to try and get through as much of my acrylic as I can. Like I said, I'm going to make loads of 6-day star blankets. That's such a yarn eater project. Obviously, it's blankets. So my plan is I'm going to just go through all of my acrylic, and then what will probably happen is I will then transition to getting more cotton yarn because that is what I use 90% of the time now, I want to say. So I thought it would be a really good idea to transition because I've got my yarn in lots of different places, and I've got a kind of like a storage unit in my wardrobe, which is mainly where the cotton goes. If I can empty that out and have a wardrobe back like a normal person, then I can have all of my cotton where the acrylic has currently been, which I think would just be really organized. That's what I'm looking for. I just don't want to over consume things, and I know that probably sounds crazy given the yarn that I've just told you I'm donating, but my problem was I didn't just want to get rid of it. The local charity shops don't really accept a lot of donations because there's a lot of people donating things at the moment in my area, And so I just thought I'm gonna hold on to it until I can find something for it. And thankfully, we've got a perfect situation where I know the yarn is actually going to be used and really enjoyed, which I feel really good about, especially giving some crochet hooks as well. I think I've got 6 to go towards it. So that's a start as well, which yeah, I'm feeling really good about it. And I'm very, very pleased. It's all worked out well. Don't get me wrong, I wish this could have happened sooner, but I feel like, I know it's very cliche, it's like a new year reset kind of thing for me. I'm gonna try and do this in every aspect of life, not just with my crazy crochet yarn stash, because I do have a little bit of I tend to kind of hold on to things maybe longer than I should. So I'm just gonna try and get out of that cycle a little bit. I think the reason I also felt especially guilty about having such a big yarn stash was because of the whole idea. Crochet is slow fashion. It is the opposite of fast fashion. These are long-term meaningful pieces where a lot of time and energy and love get poured into, and I just didn't want to have that overconsumption fast fashion vibe of having a yarn stash and then like just getting rid of it. I did not want to do that. I would have felt very guilty if that had been the case. So the way it's all worked out, honestly, I couldn't ask for anything better. I'm really, really excited. And hey, if I get sent photos of little projects or pieces that some of the kids work on by my friend, then I will definitely give you guys a little update video, because that would be very, very cute. And at some stage, she is wanting me to come into the school just to do a little teaching session for crochet and maybe other crafty things you can do with yarn, which I'm really looking forward to. I think that would be so much fun. I have not done something like that yet before, but I know I wanted to be a teacher when I was younger. So I know I teach in a way, but I wanted to be a teacher. So getting to do something like that would be really, really fun. I still can't believe just how much of my yarn stash is left after I'm donating what I'm donating. But I am also very happy to be able to be donating, and that it's going to a good place for loads of kids to get to hopefully find their passion in crochet or knitting or any other fibre art, because hey, let's inspire the next generation with a little bit of creativity. If you guys are in a similar position to me, where maybe you just have too much yarn you're not going to use, yarn that was gifted to you that maybe isn't your ideal type of yarn, then maybe consider donating to a local school as well, just because I feel like it's such a good cause. And from what I have experienced, not as much funding goes into crafting, which donations like this would make a huge difference. I dread to think how much monetary value my donation has, but it's something that maybe they wouldn't have otherwise been able to do and been able to provide. Thank you guys so much for sticking around for this whole video. I am both thrilled to be giving all this yarn away to a very good place, and equally thrilled to have room left and spare room now, which is usually unheard of for me. It's really proactive, it's a great start to the year, and I'm hoping I'm starting off this year on a very good note to just be able to be a little bit more proactive in everything that I'm doing. If you guys want that possible future update, then do let me know in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video but you're not yet subscribed, please consider doing so, as it means the absolute world to me. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!